everybody. Welcome to San Francisco Ballet's Meet the Artist conversation. I'm Jenny Scholik, and I am your host for today's Meet the Artist talk. For those of you here in San Francisco, you know that these conversations normally happen immediately before a performance in the War Memorial Opera House. But this year we've had to move so many things online, including these conversations. The conversation you're about to see was recorded in late April or early May when we conducted in-depth interviews with each of our newly promoted soloist and principal dancers. We hope that these conversations will give you some insight into their journey, their training, and how they've gotten to where they are. I hope you enjoy this conversation, and thank you so much for your support of San Francisco Ballet. So, first, I just want to say thank you so much for being here with me today, Lucas, and taking the time to chat a little bit about your career and your life so far. And of course, congratulations on your promotion to soloist. I think we were all really excited around the building to hear that and felt well deserved.
Much for this opportunity to talk to you and to review a little bit my career, my life. I'm very happy, very excited for this moment in my career. Unfortunately, it's not the week I couldn't do it on the stage, but I will. So and we will go back. So I will have more fun on stage and celebrate on stage soon.
Yeah, well, that brings me to the first thing I wanted to say was whoever's listening to this interview, this was pre-recorded, so we are in about, I guess the first full week of May, second week of May, as we're talking, and we are still technically in shelter in place, although it sounds like San Francisco is lightening up a little bit as of today.
Yeah.
But how are you? Where are you? How are you kind of holding up in this time?
So I'm my girlfriend's home, which is in the same building that I live, actually. So it's it was a really I got so lucky in that way. So I'm not alone. It's been today is the 53rd day of the yes.
Count. It's too depressing.
I just put it every day. Every day I change the number, and yeah, this it's been a long time. I always when I talk to my family in Argentina, I always say the same thing. Then when the first day we had to come back home and just close the door, we never realized how big this was, and how difficult it will be. Um, Now, then we went through it's almost 2 months, and which is learned so much. We just learned a lot from individual, like of me. I learned a lot. I learned how to manage moments than before. I was escaping, for example, and he wasn't actually paying attention to 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 those situations who were like there to teach me something, and I wasn't listening that. Now I feel like all this moment is just to get better and to start again, but in a different way. I feel like I'm not saying that it's a good thing that what just happened, but because a lot of people are suffering a lot, um, but at the same time I feel like it's a really good slap in the face and say, come on, let's wake up. So I'm trying to keep it up and trying to work out every day, and uh, especially for us to keep the body in shape is is a big thing. And we cannot just I cannot stop thinking about it. That's one one funny thing, then every day you wake up feeling like, okay, I cannot lose the shape. So you have to fight every day for that. So there is a actually a objective every day. Um, and yeah, and then missing my family a lot because I'm from
Your,
Argentina.
yeah, I was gonna say, is your family in Argentina all okay and hanging in there through all of this? Is it similar there as here?
It is similar, but fortunately they are better. They don't have too many deaths, and people are, well, because everything is started more like in Europe, and here they took a lot of decisions. They made a lot of decisions, and they started sooner than us, and so the virus didn't spread so much, and people like my family, for example, I just I don't I always tell them, you don't go out, just don't go out, please. Like, if they go out, I'm gonna start overthinking, and that's not gonna help anyone. So, but yeah, my family are fine. They are all in different houses, but they are um, all connected, and because we have this we are privileged to have technology, and for those moments, for this moment is perfect for everyone. And yeah, I thought,
Right? Like, thank goodness this is happening now and not like, I mean, there were viruses 100 years ago and people had to quarantine and then they were just like, what, trapped and like writing letters, I guess? Like, I don't
yeah, I cannot, yeah, I I just cannot imagine writing a letter to my mom and like leaving the letter there and not even know if she will get it or not and when she's gonna answer. Now, yeah, we wake up and the first thing is good morning, and when you hear the good morning back is the
yeah.
best thing. But yeah, we are lucky. We are lucky that this happened now to us.
So you said you worry about keeping in shape. So what have you been taking class? Are you doing other things? What are you up to kind of try to maintain some
Yeah, so
semblance?
how I said before, this is a moment to start exploring and experimenting other things. In the professional way, we have classes with San Francisco Ballet every day. Um, the teachers, we rotate teachers. We have different um, people in charge, and we take class every day. At home here, we made a homemade bar at the kitchen, and we try to create some space to move all the furniture and furniture, and well, it's enough. It's enough, and it's not bad. It's not bad. We cannot complain. Um, but yeah, we try to eat really healthy, and of course less than before, less than normally. And yes, we uh, and then I personally I start taking more like Pilates class or yoga class. Then I never actually, I wasn't used to it. I have to say it. I wasn't used to that. I was like, no, that's not for me. Oh, I don't. It's not that I didn't believe. It's more than because I never tried. I didn't know the effects, and I didn't feel it in my body. And that this was a perfect situation. I started taking yeah, gyrotonic, for example, and and it really works. It's amazing how your body is like working and starting feeling other muscles and another things, and I didn't know they were there. So, and and yes, and then try to do, I don't know, try to take other classes with old friends. For example, this was the best moment to start or restart talking to friends whom, I don't know, life sometimes it's not that we don't remember them, but sometimes we just keep going forward, keep meeting other people, so you lose contact sometimes with, the base of your life, or and yeah, we start talking, and they they take other classes too, and they're like, come on, let's do it together, or you should take this class, or you should try it with this. So, and then nothing, just more um, about reading more, a little more, reading a little more books or other kind of things, and not just ballet. Sometimes we just cannot think about something else. And
How
yeah,
to do that, right?
it is.
I love what you're saying about connecting with some old friends because I feel like that's one of the things that's been so interesting about this time, right? Like I feel it with people in my life too, right? Like you sort of have this time to kind of reach out and connect with people again. And then also it's been such a reminder of, kind of how small the dance world really is, right? Like these online classes and like everyone knows somebody and getting to take class with people around the world. It's
Yeah,
really interesting.
it is. It is. It's like a mix of sensations. We sometimes we say, "Wow, there is so many people in the world, and we are so many," and like you meet people all the time, but at the same time, and then you go in a link and you click and you start recognizing people that you know, but maybe you haven't seen in a while,
Totally.
but you know them, so you recognize their faces, and you can start talking about something without um, asking their names, or without meeting them and before, because you already knew
Yeah.
them, and yeah, it is a small world. It is a small world, and I always say that every work, like whatever job you have, is like it's a little world. Uh,
Hmm.
that's the thing, to try to meet people from other worlds, but in the same one. And then, um, but every world is so small. Like there is so many dances in the world, but we all know each other, and it
Yeah.
happens in every.
Degrees separated from anyone, it feels like, right? Like
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
knows, you know.
yeah. So it's interesting, and it's nice to have this feeling to then we are all connected. Actually, in the end, it's an individual career, but
Hmm.
in the end, we are connected. We know each other, and we know where everyone is. We remember, oh, I remember he was here, or but now I think another friend, no, he just left, or he went to. So all the information is it's in the air all the time. It's actually nice.
Speaking of dancing, I've been keeping an eye on, Instagram a little bit, and I have seen you guys doing some, like full-fledged classical pas de deux in your living room. Very impressive, I have to say. I mean, there's like a little part of me that's like, please don't get hurt, but I'm also very impressed at the same time. So, is that, are you someone who, in normal circumstances, is always kind of like working on something or watching tapes and learning parts? Or is this like a purely out of boredom during shelter in place that you're doing this?
Well, I first of all, I have to say that yes, I'm a person and I'm always doing something. I I like to I like to discover new things, but I also like to get better in what I do, and whatever I'm doing, not just in ballet, whatever I'm doing, I try to get better, and that requires practice a lot, and I know, well, for me at least, I know that more I practice, better I get. Some people are different. Some people more if they do too much, they don't get better. So they don't have to. For
Mhm.
example, rehearsal so much. Um, it's a it's a pure talent. That is a lot of talent. But I guess my talent is the other one, is to practice and don't get tired of that. And so that's my way to get better. I love to wake up, and of course there is some days when you don't you don't feel, especially now there are some days when you don't feel it. There is, yeah, it's hard to do it every day, but that is where you prove, that's when you test yourself and how much you want something. harder it is, like if it's more, if the objective is bigger, the practice is harder. Is you have to be like more hours and more time, and you get really, sometimes it's annoying because it doesn't work, or but that means then it's bigger, the results are going to be bigger. um, and then I also think that you cannot be someone who you aren't. Like if you can act for a little bit, but in the end, everyone come back to their own. Yeah, exactly. So, and it's been 52 53 days, so I am actually, I guess I'm not acting because we try to do every day, and we are doing every day. And how I said before, some days it's really hard, and we get angry, but then you have those days, like I don't know, yesterday, and I remember it was amazing. We finished the party and we were like, wow, uh, we don't jump, so don't worry about, we are not getting injured. So we are taking all um,
Precautions.
the precautions, but sometimes, for example, with the roof, it's hard sometimes when you lift, and sometimes you don't you don't realize how how high it is, but
Well, you'll be ready when we get back into those beautiful studios.
that's the idea, to like keep that sensation in the body, how a lift feels like, and how a period, just is not to be amazing, just
To
to exactly keep in the body, because it's gonna be a long time, so this is gonna take time, so
it is
it's.
gonna take time. So, you said you're someone who likes the work of it, who's in the work of it. Have you always been that way? I'm gonna sort of think back to like when you were a kid. Did you, from the very beginning, sort of love ballet and the practice of it, or did it take a little longer for you?
Well, I try soccer first. Like I try to play soccer, and I actually didn't like it, but I didn't like the practicing every day. So my
Mhm.
family couldn't believe it when and then life took me to ballet, um, in a really weird way, because they never expected. I never expected. I started doing some traditional dances in Argentina, but it's not even close to ballet. So like the wearing tights and all this is not is nowhere what I was wearing. But and then life took me to ballet, and my family got surprised for how into it I was. And yes, I left. I don't know if I should talk a little bit about how I I actually went to Buenos Aires, because I'm not from Buenos Aires in Argentina. I'm not from the capital, and when I was 15, so 10
Was
years.
So you moved to Argentina, or sorry, you moved to Buenos Aires when you're 15. How long had you been dancing before that?
So I started when I was around 9 years old. Uh, in Argentina, we are lucky to have in the school you can start dancing. So those traditionals like tango, folk, Argentinian folk. So I started like 9, 10 years old in the lower school, and then you keep dancing and learning different styles, but never ballet, which is bad because it should be there. But I will try to change that. That's one of my objectives in my life too, but later. It's a big one, but I will try, because and then no, and then I went to a private academy. Then it was folk and tango too, but they have ballet classes every 3 classes per week or something like that. So I started doing that when I was 13, 14, but it wasn't professional. I wasn't learning much. It was more about elasticity and coordination, because because everyone said then classical ballet is the mother of all the dances, and it's true. But I didn't want to accept it back then, but but now I accept it, and I know it's that way. Um, and then I have my well, the teacher that I always had with me, and Raquel Rossetti, which I have to say that she was my mentor. She discovered me and she took me to Buenos Aires. She was in my city doing a tour with the company, and she saw me dancing Argentinian folk, and she was like, we need to have you doing ballet. Uh, she saw something I don't know. That's what she always says, and she just didn't doubt it. She just took me to Buenos Aires. She gave me everything, um, all the especially all the discipline and the courage, and um, I was feeling really secure with her, and the confidence she gave me, the confidence to believe in myself, to believe in that I was able to be a ballet dancer. Um, then I was there in Argentina in the theater column, which is a national theater in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, and I was there for 2 years in the school there too, taking private classes with her. Um, and then that's when I went to Prix Lausanne in Switzerland, where I met Patrick Armand, and he gave me the scholarship to come to San Francisco Ballet School.
So you were about what, 17-ish at the
I was 17. Yes, I was 17 when I went to Prix Lausanne.
And I imagine by that point you knew that this was what you wanted to do with your life. But when was that, like when you were 15 and you moved to Buenos Aires, was that like the moment where you're like, all right, this is my career, or was it a little bit later?
It was there when I was already in Buenos Aires, because I just took a backpack. I went to with a backpack to Buenos Aires. I told my mom, okay, I'm going. If I don't come back, it's because I found a place to stay, because I didn't have even a place to stay. Um,
And she let you know at 15? She was
yeah,
like,
it was my dad went with me because he took me, but the decision was it was made already. Like, it was my decision. It wasn't their decision at all. I didn't come back, and so I stayed there. It was I knew it, but I have to say that I never expected that much, like to to made it to where I am now. Um, I have to say, like, I guess I was updating the objectives year by year, or step by step. I was saying, okay, I can do more, or I want more.
mm-hmm.
In the beginning, I thought I will just stay in Argentina, the national ballet that we have in Buenos Aires. I was like, this is my dream. When I made it there, when I danced with the company, I was in the school, but I was dancing with the company, um, and then I started feeling that it wasn't enough, and then I was really young, and everything happened so fast. So that's why I was like, why not? A lot of people are saying that it's impossible for me, because a lot of people were saying that, but it's like always there's people who will not believe in you, but I was believing in me. Like, I actually felt it. So I was like, I'm gonna try it, and I went to Prix Lausanne with zero expectations, because it's an incredible like competition, and for young dancers that so talented and from all around the world, and I got lucky. I don't know. I didn't think too much, and everything happened so fast, and and then I was 15 when I left home, and then I was 18 and I was here in San Francisco Ballet School. So a lot of people couldn't understand how, me neither, but I just have to say that when you believe in yourself, there is no limits.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you come to San Francisco Ballet School. You spent 1 year here in the
Yes,
school?
Yes, yes.
Were there any sort of highlights for you of that year you spent in
Uh,
school?
well, I first of all, it was hard for me because I didn't speak English.
Yeah, it's a rough adjustment. Were you in Jackson House or were you living by?
I was in Jackson House. I was in Jackson House, and um, I had no money. I have to thanks to my sponsor, which it was an Argentinian person, Horacio, which he, he, it wouldn't be possible without him. Um, he helped me, and I always had people helping me a lot. So that's why I like to help now.
Pass it along.
I have to do it because I feel it but also now that everything happened and I look back, I see that some
Hmm.
people don't see it, or some people just see it but they don't really care too much. But I feel like it was everything because I couldn't do it without that, just by myself. I couldn't. So I really like to help now, and especially people from my country which don't have um, the money, or the this career is not easy. So you need to have some things. And
Do you have like some other like younger dancers from Argentina who you help kind of mentor or?
yeah, I have a lot of people talk to me, and especially after I came to San Francisco Ballet, a lot of people were really happy to hear that. And the message was always that was you can do it too. uh, there's nothing that you have to tell me, just tell me with actions, and I want to see you there. And then we can talk and say, hey, congratulations. And but don't 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 lose your time saying how amazing I am. Like, you are amazing too. And I wanna say it to them too. So go and expend your time in yourself. And I'm really thankful, but at the same time I really strict. I really like people to go for things, and if they have like whatever they're dreaming is possible. It's possible. Just keep fighting for it. And yeah, it was hard going back now to Jackson House. It was hard because the language was it was it was
Yeah.
a really hard moment for me. I couldn't talk to anyone.
Dropped in the deep end, right? Like sink or swim, figure it out. Mm.
Yeah, no, and then there was this Spanish group, and they speak Spanish, um, Spanish in the way that they were from Mexico, Paraguay, in South America, Argentina, Brazil. People speaking Portuguese. I speak Portuguese, so I actually survived because of them. Because otherwise it wouldn't be. I would have last. I don't know, 2 months, and then going back to Argentina because I talk too much. So I cannot survive without talking.
You spent 1 year here in San Francisco, and then you had kind of a meandering path. I mean, it probably didn't feel like that at the time, but it's you didn't go straight into the company. For a lot of the people I talked to in these interviews, it was like I did my training, I did my year in the school, I did a training year, and I joined as an apprentice. And
Yeah.
that wasn't the story. So, can you talk a little bit about where you went and how you made your way back to San Francisco a couple years ago?
That's why a lot of people um, they were really surprised when they heard that I was coming back to San Francisco, because it's very weird when someone leave and then to come back is personal. I never refused the idea that I was like not going back. I always knew it that I was coming back, because I actually uh, that's how I thought it in that moment. I was like, this is the best for me. I have to leave, um, because I was dying for dancing. I was like, I need to dance. I need to dance. And sometimes when you join a company as apprentice, or when you are so young, those feelings start like getting low because in a company,
It's a big company.
it's a big company. It's not easy to start dancing
Yeah.
and to have that your space, your spot. It's a transition that I feel like is the hardest.
Mhm.
And at least until now in my career, it was the hardest for me to jump from the school into a company. Is really hard. Um, if you find a company right away, it makes it easy. But a lot of people don't find company right away, so it's a stressful. But I went back to Argentina. I had nothing. I had nothing. That's a funny story because I from everything to nothing
Yeah.
in a few seconds. and I didn't want to try in America again. I didn't want to, not because I was angry, just because money wise it was impossible for me to do like a audition tour or something like that. It wasn't an option.
Fly around the country and their fees, and it's really expensive.
Yeah,
It can be really.
so people who has those opportunities are lucky and they have to they have to really take advantage of those um, opportunities. But yeah, and then I went to Uruguay because there is a country next to Argentina, Uruguay, small country but really beautiful country, good people there. And Julio Boca, which is an Argentinian legend.
I have to text him right now because he's doing like an interview for the students
Ah,
tomorrow.
that's yeah, yeah. Everyone love him here in San Francisco too. And yeah, he was the director of Ballet Nacional del Sodre in Uruguay. And he hired me as apprentice. I was 18, almost 19 years old. In the middle of the season, which is
Unusual.
yeah, unusual, was really special for me. And then I stayed there for 3 years. I went to apprentice, corps, soloist. I was a soloist there. I had so many opportunities and the chance to become a principal role. Basilio in Donkey. I did France in Coppelia, Sigfrido in Swan Lake. I did Lenskin on Egin. So I had so many memories there. So much experience. I got so much experience, it was what I was looking for. I was looking for experience, and I have to say thanks to Julio and to Uruguay to open the door for me. And and yes, and then I left the company. I came back to America, the States, and I went to Sarasota Ballet in Florida. I was a principal dancer there for 1 season. Um, Beautiful experience
A
too.
lot of passion.
Yes, yes, a lot. I came back with a better English, so I was a little more comfortable. I was more open to people and talking. Um, it's hard for me. It's still really hard because I always in Spanish, speak Spanish with my family, but much better. Trust me, much better. And
Great. You've been fluent through all of this, so I wouldn't worry about
so, but someday will be good. And then I got a contract here. I auditioned. I came back. I saw Helgi after 5 years, almost 5 years.
it.
Um, and he was like, now now I see what I wanted to see. Um, Now I see a mature ballet dancer. Uh, you already know. So he gave me that. I wasn't expecting it because, how we said before, huge company, so many people trying to join the company, and so many auditions. People in Americans. It's an American company, so I understand which that means. Americans are first. For at least I will think that in Argentina too. I'm not saying that people cannot join the company, but the company is an American company, and there's so many dancers and incredible dancers here. Um, so I'm really thankful to be here, and that's why I try to work hard every day, just to show how um, thankful I feel to for this chance, and um, for this country to let me work here. And Argentina is a really different country in the all the different ways that you can imagine. Um, it's like the first world, how people say it's the first world, and and I I feel like that is something that it doesn't happen to everyone, to have the opportunity to adapt yourself to live in a first world. And we learn a lot in the third world. We learn a lot. Then sometimes when we come to the first world, we don't show. And that's what I try to show them. Argentina is a country with a lot of people don't value too much. Um, but we learn a nice base of um, humans connections, and the how important is to
There's my little dog.
how important is to remember.
Yeah, totally. That totally makes sense. Well, and I think I don't want to speak for him, but Helgi's path was not that dissimilar either. He left the School of American Ballet and then joined a smaller company and danced principal roles at smaller companies before he
Mhm.
went back to New York City Ballet. There's some value, right, in
Yes.
getting experience and, as you said, getting to dance so much, getting that stage experience, and then coming back to a bigger company, a more mature person and dancer, right? At that point
No,
in time.
exactly. That's when when actually you value more everything, because when you go back, and that's what I said about the first word and third word. You feel that different when you are an American, when you are when I was in Uruguay. But at the same time, if there wasn't an Uruguay for me to get the experience to jump into the stage and and get better, and that we all need, like, we need each other. We need
Yeah.
each company needs a small company for those dancers who get the experience and come back, and to connect them at the same time. There's always thing that you can learn in a small company that you will never learn in a big company. So that's what I'm trying to bring, those things that I have learned in these small companies, and then take advantage of all the benefits we have in a big company like this one, um, and tell the others, hey guys, you have a lot here, because the people who never left, they don't see them.
Yeah, it's all they know.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a few of the things you've gotten to do with this big company. You've gotten to do a lot of soloist and principal parts over the last couple years and a variety of things, but I want to highlight maybe one or two in the last year as kind of maybe some breakout moments for you. Um, you got to dance in Romeo and Juliet in Copenhagen. That was a big moment, I think. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Huge, really a big surprise. It was a surprise for me, because I I was learning the Mercutio role, the principal role. I wasn't expecting to dance there. There was only four shows. Um, my second tour with the company, the first one was to London. Um, Sometimes people don't maybe will never understand how big a dancer. It's a tour, representing all the not just the company, the country, every person representing your own country and your culture, um, um, and to share that with people from, in this case, Denmark, which they have their own, and they are um, interested in see what we have. So it was a lot. It was a lot to understand in a few days, because I got the news that I was doing it 2 days, 3 days before the show. So I had um, to be strong and put it together really fast. Um, I had the support of the whole company, and that's what I did it. Otherwise, it wouldn't been possible. Um, I have to say that Romeo and Juliet was a special um, ballet for me, because I did Romeo when I was in Uruguay, which I didn't say before, but yeah, I did Romeo, and it was always really special for me. Mercutio, his friends, Romeo's friends, he, it was the other one that I was like, I will do it someday, but I never expected that I will do it in a huge company like San Francisco Ballet. So it was a lot of feelings before the show. It was all in my head. And it was from the beginning of my career. How now I'm getting emotional. Sorry, I just it's hard to explain with words. Um, from the beginning of my career, it's all I dreamt. It was to be in a huge stage with a beautiful story, with the costume, beautiful costume, amazing set. All I just I don't know how to say it. This is too much. It's too much. The audience it was all booked. The theater was beautiful too. Everyone expecting so much about each one of us, and and yeah, and then after the curtain went up, I felt that freedom then it touched my soul. Then it, it makes me um, express all this what I'm saying. And it doesn't lock me. It doesn't stop me. The opposite. It makes me feel like this is what you know. You know how to do this, and I just couldn't say thank you to the director, because I was crying behind the curtain backstage. I couldn't believe it. Everyone was saying um, congratulations, because it's a big thing for
Yeah.
a ballet dancer. It's a big thing, and to get ready in 2 days is a really good challenge. Um, it could have went like wrong too, but it went
But it didn't. It went right.
but it didn't. So Helgi was happy too, and that's important. Um, but yeah, so it was an experience that it will stay in my heart forever.
And then after that, I want to keep an eye on the time, but after that, you sort of led off the gala with Stars and Stripes.
Yes, we
I mean, you danced a lot this season. You did Concerto Grosso, which is, a piece that many
yes,
principals
yes.
of the company have done over the years.
Responsibility, big responsibility.
Yeah, and you were learning Puck as well,
Yes,
right?
yes, I was learning back.
Did you kind of looking at all that together, did you think, maybe this might be my year, maybe I'm going to get a promotion, maybe I'm going to be a soloist, or were you just really in the work and focused and not thinking about it?
I guess I wasn't thinking about it in that moment, but and then maybe by the end of the season, I will be like
Yeah.
well, depends how it was, depends how, yeah, depends my the results.
Right.
Um,
The opportunity that you
yeah,
could.
exactly. But I was taking one by one every opportunity. Gala was incredible. The gala was again one thing that I wasn't expecting to like the adrenaline that day was was too much. The people was so excited in the audience, and being the first number of the gala, opening the gala, everyone is so ready. Everyone is the hopes like really up, and I was almost like not even touching the ground. Enjoyed so much with all the this piece, and it was amazing. Again, it was a surprise because I wasn't expecting. Um, it was the only five guys, and the red guy, how you said before, all the best dancers in the company did it. Um, eh, I have to say maybe I felt that I wasn't ready. It was a huge challenge. Um, but I was in the party, so I had to dance. Like there was no other option, and that's when you know what you are made of. It, like if you don't take that opportunities, you will suffer later. You will be like you will regret it. Regret it? Is that how you say?
Yeah.
And I didn't. It was really a fun moment with the other four guys. We had so much fun on the stage. The audience loved it too, and how I said it is sometimes if you think too much and you thinking what people would think about it, and you start doubting what you are, what you can do. Uh, there's no time for that. There is no space in my career for that. If I do something wrong, it's part of my career and it's part of the life. Um, I will learn from that, but I will never do something because I'm afraid. So
Mhm.
whatever you want to do, just do it, and then if it doesn't work, okay, but you try it and you gave
Yeah.
it everything. Um,
Yeah. Took advantage of the moment that was
exactly.
presented.
Take advantage of every moment, and then Paca, unfortunately, I couldn't dance.
It'll come back.
No, he will come back, and but we were working so much. We were working so much because at the same time we're doing other part of the ballet too. I was doing the donkey, which is
But you
one of.
did get.
Yes, I did it. I did that one. I did it, and back it's like Mercutio. I really felt it in my body, like those fast movements and and being everywhere, and well, it was kind of like the he was the guide of the story. He was guiding all the, well,
All
yeah,
together. Yeah.
and he wasn't like the star of the ballet, but he was the person who was everywhere all the time, and and it was fun to do it. It was really hard, really tiring, but at the same time, really, like if I wasn't there, uh, nothing is gonna happen. So like nothing will happen. So it was all my responsibility. I couldn't do it, but I will try to do it if next season,
Next season. Yeah.
hopefully.
So, kind of last big question from me. Uh, you did get a promotion. We are in a very strange time. How did you find out? What was that? What happened?
um,
Where were you? What were you up to?
I was here at home. I got a call from San Francisco Ballet, and I was actually rehearsing. I was doing my parades that you you see in Instagram, um, and I couldn't answer. Um, and so I was like, "What's happening?" Maybe I have to say that I was a little sad because um, how everything ended, and it wasn't, of course, nobody expected, and we had so much to do.
There was so much left of the season.
There was so much left. Um, the whole season was incredible, but that second part was really really good. Um, that we couldn't perform, but so I was sad. I had this first 15 days of the quarantine that I was. It's not that I wasn't working out or taking my classes, but I was a little. I just feel like it wasn't fair for anyone. Um, for me, for the audience, for all the dancers, all the people who works at the theater. Um, so when I got this call, something I don't know. Uh,
Shifted.
yeah, I was like, I called back to that number, and he was the boss. And I was like, oh, sorry, I couldn't answer. I actually was putting my shirt on because I didn't have it. So I had to put a shirt on. I was like, sorry, Helgi. He called me on FaceTime, and he just he wanted to know how I was, and he saw me. I was sweating, still sweating from the rehearsal, and he was like, "Well, because of that, because you worked so hard all this season, and I wanted to promote you to Solis, and I feel like you deserve it." And and just I start shaking right away. All those memories and all that we were talking. My past in Uruguay, school, pre-Lausanne, um, very difficult moments, family, like how you, how much I miss my family. Everything made sense in 1 second. Um, all this sacrifice, um, it, I was okay.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how to explain it. The value of all that is not in the promotion. Like, it's not because I got promoted, but all the work you do until get the you don't see the title, like if you want to say it, um, that's when you actually, you know, you feel like everything, it was for a good reason. All you did.
And recognized, right? That like other people see it too, right? All that you've
Exactly,
put in.
exactly. That's when you see, okay, um, I will do it again if I have to do it.
Yeah, it was all worth it in some way, and it's
So
recognized.
it's worth it. Like, it's completely everything, everything. All I did, I will do it again because it's worth it. Like, especially the bad moments, because that's when you see how strong you are, how you can you can fight against everything. Like, everyone can fight against everything. It's just that you have to believe it.
Yeah. Well, that is the perfect note to end on. So I am going to end this there. Thank you so much for joining me today and for taking some time out to talk with all of us.
No, thank you, and I hope that everyone stays safe and stay strong in this hard moment. Um, I know people are gonna see this and when everything isn't back to normal, but hopefully soon. But I'm just I want to say that there's always positive things in all the situations. So if we see that way and not always the bad way and the the darkness and everything, we have to look into the things that we can still learn in every time from every situation, and there's no price that you there's no money that will pay and will buy those things. If we learn, that's all we have to do. Keep learning, and then the rest is just fantasy.
Great. Yes. Well, thank you again, and good luck with everything in the next few.
Hope to see you soon and to come back to stage soon.